What's up, guys? How's it going? I figured I'd jump on here since it's been a while. I have not made a video in a couple of months, but I have been kind of working in silence, trying to get my 8, trying to build things up, clean up. I've been going crazy. You see, I got a whole list of stuff here. Doing a head gasket on this guy right now. I've been wiring a fuel tech on this little Civic, and we have just been doing it all. For the CRX, I know that's what you guys are all curious about. I am preparing for Sick Week. I've already got my ticket. Tickets are sold out. So I've started preparing for that. My car has always been an uncut car, besides what I had to cut to get the engine to fit up front, as well as the all-wheel drive, I guess you could say. There's no cutting for weight reduction, pretty much no weight reduction at all. I mean, besides a couple of interior stuff pulled out, I still have the pillar plastics, the door cards, the passenger seat's been in it, dash is stock. It's pretty much all there. So it's gonna undergo weight reduction. I have some things I'd like to change to make Sick Week a lot smoother. So I had a switch for my secondary water pump, as well as the fan back there. I'm gonna tie the fan into the front fans, so whenever they're on, it's on, so it's always cooling the water that's back there. As well as I'm gonna add a secondary coolant sensor back there to where when it sees the water up front get a certain temperature, it turns that pump on, and then that'll start cycling the water back to the back pump. Water drops and it'll turn the pump off. So the way I was doing it was I was cycling the pump with a switch, but the fuel tech's, it could do it. It's smart. It's got all that in it. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna wire that in there. I'm gonna rewire all my lights because my lights are all just spades pushed on a relay up under the dash. It's not very clean. I'm always worried I'm gonna kick them. Sometimes they unplug from the rattling. So we're gonna rewire that, get some nice plugged relays, probably some cool ones that clip together, get all that buttoned up and taken care of. And then I wanna go ahead and get the head swapped out. So I have been waiting, I don't know how long. Jamie and I ordered head studs probably 6 months plus back, and they just haven't showed up. I think I'm gonna go ahead and order some from Inline Pro instead. They say they're rated for a little bit more horsepower. We're gonna go ahead and get those head studs. Weight reduction. I've ordered a carbon fiber dash. It's on the way. It's already been shipped. It's coming. I'm gonna cut the quarters out. I have fiberglass doors that I need to get repaired. They blew, not both of them, but one of them blew off the car, not while I was driving, in the pits, and it just ripped the bolts out of the hinge right here. So the door was open and it just flew off, and you know, that's not a good time. So I need to go ahead and do that. I put the new alternator on the back. I need to go ahead and drive it and see how it does. I already tried it once on the lift and it didn't charge in the air, but I only go so fast on the lift. It's kind of scary driving in the air with the side skirts and stuff because I got the arms up, you know, so it's like, it's weird. I'm not about it. So I need to go ahead and do that. I need to fix the transfer case because it's currently a front wheel drive car. Last time out, I'll put the clip right here. All right, so prepping for this weekend. Hopefully it will not rain. I got the alternator swapped out with the one that does not take an exciter wire, so just power. I need to tighten that up, and then I am putting a wheel speed ring on the rear wheel here. So based on how that fits, this may actually work for the stock one too, because it fits kind of the same, honestly. It's a little bit looser, but we'll see. We'll see with time. If I break an axle, I may need to run this on that axle. But so this will go on there. Maybe this way, maybe this way. We're gonna see. We're gonna bolt the bracket onto the diff real quick and see where it puts the sensor and see where it needs to be before we go ahead and lock this sucker down. But I'm pretty excited. This is gonna be awesome to see this data. All right, so I got that sucker all locked down, guys. I just counted the teeth. 50 teeth, 49 thousandths feeler gauge gap there. They are sending me a V2 of the bracket because I got the older version and it didn't actually line up. I couldn't get the feeler gauge gap, so I put a few bends in it. I got it set up so I could race with it this weekend, but I want to go ahead and see where I'm at and get my rear wheel speed going. 54. All right, so in the fuel tech, we already set up the input on input 9. Rear wheel speed, we set it 2, and we set the teeth and the wheel diameter. But so now I got to just, I don't know, I got to figure out the next step here. All right, guys, so it is Friday. We've got the rear wheel speed all working now. I don't have it on the dash or anything. I'm not really worried about seeing the rear wheel speed except for in the data log and the ECU knowing it's there. So I got my little light right here. Let me show you what I got cooking. All right, guys, so I actually got version 1 of this sensor and this bracket. This bracket has been revised and is better. So this bracket was too tall. I couldn't get my gap, so you see I put a little bend down and then I flattened it out. And so right here we have a 49 thousandths feeler gauge gap. I put this ring in there center as best as I could. All of my set screws are tight, and give it some spins. Looks really good. So I wired it up. Blue is ground, black is signal, brown is power. So those are the wire colors if you are ever wiring this. And then I went ahead and I've just been removing a bunch of excess little wiring that's still in the car, because I am going to be redoing a bunch of it. So I took out, we'll go on this side. So I took out the Milwaukee battery adapter, as well as I took out a few of the other little wires that were all up in here. So it does look cleaner. I zip tied them up, and then I zip tied them up, and then I tied my relays up right here. So now they're not just sitting on the floor, they're tied up. I'm also going to, there's some relays and stuff over there. I'm gonna remove all that stuff because that's the wiring for the fan and all that stuff over there. I'm gonna redo that. So this pink wire is gonna disappear. The alternator wires don't need to go over there anymore, just this big one. So I'll tie that down, and then I'm gonna just get rid of all of these wires running over there that don't need to run over there. So I'll follow this pink one up, disconnect it. It's probably connected here at the battery or into up and over into the switch here for the alternator. So that's where that's connected. I'll get that disconnected, run it all out, cut it out, whatever I got to do, and this thing will be slightly cleaner and a few grams lighter. All right, the calm before the storm, guys. So they're scrubbing the track right now. They just called drag racers to the lanes, and this is what we've been working for all week. We did the weight reduction, we did the speed sensor. We're gonna see what we can do here. We got cool night air. We're racing all the way from 8 to midnight, and I'm pretty pumped up, so come along with us. So gears got lodged in there. Got the top pretty good. Yeah. Gonna need to have that looked at. Possibly another one machined. Dang. Got her good. Yeah, we did. No spinning. Mm-mm. Dang it. Yeah, for real. Dang it. Bearings toasted. Alright guys, so that is the worst the transfer case has ever broken. We snapped the shaft off right there at the tip. That is the PPG shaft, so it is the hollow shaft that is serviceable at the racetrack. So we didn't need to press any of these gears off, but we did have to press it out of the T-case because it was also stuck in there. So I'm probably gonna have to get one of these made. This is the cap for the T-case. See, it's blown out right there, busted up pretty good right where the seal is, the O-ring, so that's never gonna work again probably. Yeah, but I've got all my parts right here. I've already started collecting, so I need to take the bearing off of this bad boy and this bad boy, actually, yes, off of this bad boy and that bad boy. We're gonna put it onto this one here, and then this one here, and another stock shaft that I have here. So I do have one more stock shaft, but I am all out of hypoids because I killed a hypoid once before. So I do have one more shaft and gear there, but I do not have the other gear, this guy. I do not have any more of this guy. So I will have to collect more CRV transfer cases or start upgrading to the PPG stuff to get this guy all reinforced so we can stop shredding this stuff, because that is the hardest the CRX has ever launched. It's never launched that hard. I mean, these are 13 by 10, so bigger tires. We had them a 911. I think 911 for the tires was actually really good. I think the car was going to take off, but I just needed to load it a little better. I think I don't know. I had it preloaded really well, but it ripped. It ripped, man. And then yeah, when I felt it break, it felt like, the way I explained it to Steven, it felt like the front had let go and I was pushing myself with the rear, but it was actually the T-case let go and I was pulling myself with the front. And then once the gears and everything got lozenged into the bottom and bound up the T-case, then this driver axle just snapped and I came to a screeching stop. So we'll get this stuff fixed and we'll be back out there ASAP. But man, what a night. But we also went 156, so I need to add the parachute back on the back, rebuild the hitch because it bent in the crash, as well as I want to do remote fill so I can fill from the stock filler. So I already know how to do it. S1 built that really cool thing, and I can get one of those, or I could just bolt the stock one in, cut it right up top and weld some turns, go diagonal at my wall there, my sheet metal, and then I'm gonna just hole saw a hole / cut a tube, weld the tube on, make sure it's sealed and everything, you know, and weld the tube both sides, run a hose from that side to that side, and then boom, unbolt the top, put a filler on, that's it. So then we can get a fiberglass pin-on hatch. So there's no construction in it to be able to hinge, but it's pin-on, it's a hatch. Then we get Lexan. Lexan, of course, will make it a lot lighter. I think so the fiberglass doors I have, they're really old and they've got all the construction inside of them to put the cranks and everything. I don't think I'm going to have them fixed and repaired and on the car by the time for sick week. So I will probably have these doors with windows and cranks and Lexan in the back. I'm totally cool with that. The front doors are like 65-ish pounds, 60, you know, pounds compared to 15 that the other doors are. And competitors' fiberglass doors are like 6-7 pounds, but they have all that interior construction already taken out, as well as these doors I have this door cap for the body kit already molded on them, so it's kind of one piece lump right here, and I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. Or when I get them repaired, I could have it molded down. I have that ability. Yeah, so I've got a good list of stuff for the CRX. If you stuck with me for all that talking right there, you definitely are like, dang, he's got the right mind for sick week for sure. I would like to run bottom 9s all week, if not 8s. The car could do it, man. It really could, especially with all the stuff it's going to undergo. I'm going to do rear links on the subframe, as well as I already need a new steering rack, guys. This steering rack is beat up. When we do the dash, we're going to do a steering column as well, get some weight taken out there, and I might just order one of those fancy steering wheels that is flat, because I've got a pretty dished steering wheel. That's why in the video of me breaking the transfer case, you see I've got this different red one on. This is from Steven's car, and it actually sits upside down compared to where mine is supposed to sit. So I just rocked it out. It's a little bit less dish than my steering wheel, and it made things a lot better for driving the car. I wasn't so cramped in there. As you've seen, I look very tight in the car. I feel super comfortable, but it is a tight fit. It is a CRX. The seat is a 15, and I'm a small guy. So, man, that was a lot to talk about. But I'm pumped up. I'm really excited for Sick Week. Everything's coming together. I might trim the hole a little bit more so we can get the filter on and off easier, as well as the velocity stack back on it. I don't know if after the crash the clocking of the turbo changed, or if the manifold slightly stretched down, but it hangs a little bit lower to where I can't really get the coupler past this lip here. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this with a Dremel, bring this bottom edge down kind of to where the hole will look a little bit oblonged, like, because you see it's perfect, but it's up over here. Like, the turbo needs to be up over here, and it's down over here. So we'll get that taken care of, and yeah, should be good. These are Kyle Keller's wheels, and so I'm gonna have to get my own Belix because those look so rad. 13x10s. I want 13x10s up front, and I like my 13x8s in the rear, but I need lighter wheels, like some VMSs or something. I'm not sure yet, but we're just gonna get what we can get and keep moving forward. And Sick Week's gonna be huge, so stay tuned for everything we've got coming. Let's go do this gasket. First things first, we gotta drain the oil and water out of this thing. So it popped a gasket, blew some hoses, and we possibly have mixed fluids. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the cap off. I got some rags over here for all the goods, and that's probably where I'll set the head. I'll get another set of rags for the valve cover. Yeah, so I can pop it upside down on the rags, put the cams and everything in it. I'm pretty excited. I like this car a lot. The guy that owns this car has been around, like, PFI and my dad, a very long time. He remembers me from when I was just a little guy, so pretty cool to be working on it now. All right, so now that you got all of the fluids drained, you want to go ahead and blast the biggest things out first. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull all these bolts, tensioner, get the belt off, and show the studs to ourselves. And then we're going to undo everything on the intake and get the boost pipes off. This side over here will go really fast and be easy peasy. All right, so everything on the intake is unhooked. Cams are out, distributor's off, everything on this side's unhooked. I just have the manifold on. So depending on your turbo setup, it's always different. You have to pull off more or less depending what you got. So some cars, you can literally just unbolt the manifold and just pull it off and let it hang. This car in particular, it looks like I'm gonna have to unbolt the exhaust, unbolt the turbo, to unbolt the manifold. So I've got every bolt out of the manifold except for the one right behind the manifold here, or right behind the turbo here. So I'm gonna need to go ahead, pull the feed and the return off, the boost pipe, the exhaust, lift the turbo out of there, pull the manifold up. I will be able to leave the manifold in there once the turbo is off, because there is definitely enough room to pull it forward with the dump and everything. And it looks like if I prop a jack stand or something under there, it will just hang out and should be just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the turbo off, and then we'll go ahead, pull the head studs out of this sucker. They are all in there, nice and tight probably, maybe not, I don't know. We'll check it out. But so, yeah, pull the turbo off, get in there. I don't know if you guys saw it. This sucker's got AC, it's pretty rad. But yeah, we're gonna dive in there. Let's do it. Woo! All right, so we got the turbo off, manifold off. Wasn't that bad. The biggest pain was getting the ratchet. I lost my ratcheting wrench, so getting the ratchet through all of this to this clamp, that was honestly the biggest pain. Once I unbolted the turbo, I was able to move it over enough to get return line off. Feed line was easy, clamp was easy on the exhaust. All right, guys. So, little foreshadowing we had earlier. I'm getting in here and breaking these head studs nuts loose with my regular ratchet, and I haven't had a single one that's tight yet. So I just flung you guys across the room there, but you saw that was That was easy. Oh, this one's tight. This one's taking some muscle. Ooh. See, that's why I use the little ratchet, because it tells you which ones are tight. Like, this thing is, what, 9 inches, 10 inches long? These are supposed to be torqued to 85 or 90 foot-pounds. Not good. See that? That was not tight. Not tight. Not tight. So we had 2 head studs. Tight. And that could have just been from him driving the car, or things rattling, vibrating, loosening up. Crazy. All right, so I got the Integra's head all off yesterday, but I had to jet to the airport to pick up Steven and my dad. My dad just took the head to get decked. He had to weld on the bottom of it a little bit. There was a little nick, kind of by like a water port. Right about in this area, there was a nick in the bottom of the head, so it definitely could have allowed the gasket to blow, but the gasket was blown pretty much across the board. It was toast. The head studs, I think, are stretched because a lot of them were loose and possibly bent because the head was really, really, really hard to get off. It could have been warpage or other stuff, but man, it was a chore. But I got it off, and so we're working on getting this thing back together. But Steven and my dad are both back, and we have been kind of picking up, cleaning up, trying to switch things up. He's over there cutting his car right now, dropping his tank so he can cut it more, but we got the welders up right here. These are my dad's old toolboxes and the drill bits and stuff. We just set it up, you know. It's looking really good. I like it. And he's kicking butt. Over here, underneath this thing, he just took off this wing. See how beautiful that looks? Such a good cutter. But got a bunch going on. He's kicking butt. Heck yeah. So we got the head gasket all finished up. Finally, that thing was a chore. But it's all taken care of now, and they're going to be able to tune it up and send it on home. The CRX, we have been going crazy. We've got the front dumped on its nuts now. The front is 3 inches off the ground when the tires are set to 8. I think we're going to go out and we're going to start with 8 and 15. I hear that's a great tire pressure to run, and I'm with it. So we've been going over things. I need to pull apart the transfer case and get it shimmed up and taken care of. I've got some ideas, and I think I know how to fix that. All right, so the CRX is on the lift for an alignment once again. I lowered the front of the car, as well as I changed the rear springs in the rear to 18K. The front was probably 6 or so inches off of the ground, so I lowered it down to where it is at 3 inches, because that is what the beams call for, is right around 3 inches. So it's about 3 inches and 1/16, a little bit over 3 inches that it clears. And so we're just going to go over everything, make sure the toe and everything's still right, check it out, see what's cooking, and I'm pretty excited, man. He also brought the scales this time, so we're going to be able to just dive in here deep. And then once they get the Freedom Civic all buttoned up, he's going to blast over and we'll align it too, hopefully. All right, so we just lowered the car down onto all of the leveling plates that are on the scales. It's pretty awesome. He's setting up the next step so we can start checking out the toe and everything. Sick. Back is maximum off.
2303 without you.
2303 without me. Pretty good. Yeah.
I mean,
No wheels, but that's...
mine was still lighter with me in it.
Jerk. Yeah, 2303 without me in it. Not too bad. Oh. Yeah. 67.
Hefty front.
Yes. Man, then driver's side. 912. Man, wow.
That side's so light. Is
So
it
light.
Still on the lift over there or no?
No. No.
This side is so light. That's the driver's side rear? Yeah.
That's the driver's side rear, yeah. Well, the scales don't lie.
Right? Yeah. Driver's side front.
24, 25. Hell yeah.
300 on that back corner.
All right, so made some adjustments, and now Steven says the rear corners are perfect. Front's super close.
They were at 407, 407. Now they've settled at 406 and 408.
Sheesh. That's killer.
Yeah.
That is good, man. I'm pumped up right now.
Dang.
It's never had a good corner balance. All right, so the CRX is all aligned and ready for this weekend. One more thing I need to do. So we corner balanced the car, which ended up putting this side just about well, I'm pretty much putting the fender on the wheel. So if I look back here, there's this piece of flat, and the piece of flat gets thicker as it goes forward. So it's like 1.5 inches up here, and it's only like 1 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch back here. So I'm just gonna kind of clean it up and take a little bit of a Dremel to it along the bottom here until it's got a nice gap, and that's just how it's gonna be. Man, I am pretty freaking stoked. So Jared got this thing all aligned out, and he just killed it, man. We noticed there's a little bit of weird toe here. The camber was off on the front end, and the corner balance was just everywhere. We had 900 pounds on this corner, 500 back there, only 250 over here. It was wild, but we got all that taken care of. Ah, my freaking door. But we got all that taken care of, and now things should just move out straight, along with the 18K springs in the rear to try and settle some of that bounce. I'm pumped up. So thanks for tuning in. I think that's going to conclude this video for today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe down below. I know it's been a while.